See, here's the thing. I don't care who you are, where you come from, or what kind of gamer you think you are. Right now, at this exact moment, is absolutely the greatest time in history to love video games. Period. Umbrella Fight.
Hello. Welcome in. Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Umbrella Fight podcast. Whoa. This is, of course, oh boy, Devin, your video's gone all wonky.
My video is tripping out. Oh God,
something is happening to Devin's video here, and it's kind of amazing.
Oh, we might be back, boys. Hold on.
Wow.
What is going on?
Can you hear me? Off the show. I can certainly hear you. That's for damn sure, but okay. I sure cannot see you. The lights went out, bro.
Dude, something just happened. I don't hold on.
That's really funny. Well, while you noodle with that, I just will say welcome to everybody that's in our audience today to the Umbrella Fight podcast. This is, of course, the one and only podcast on the internet that actually talks about video games and enjoys doing so. And man, this is a fun way to kick off our show with a little bit of technical difficulties, but nevertheless, we will carry on. Hopefully, Devin will get his camera situation situated. I don't know how you get a situation situated.
Well, okay, 1 second. Oh boy. Dude, okay, so what's happening is like my screen just started freaking out. All my monitors went blank, and then I heard the USB like unplug and plug in sounds.
Oh no.
And
you're probably a victim here of the old Microsoft update whenever we feel like it.
I think that's exactly what it was.
Or your NVIDIA was like, hey, you need a new graphics driver like right now, buddy.
Oh, well, it is showing that there is one available, but I have that automatic installation turned off.
Hey, you know what you should do is you should pop into the little Video Ninja screen there and deselect your camera and then reselect it again. I bet that will fix it. I've had that happen a couple of times. So nevertheless, while we wait for Devin to get his camera in order over there, this is really
disaster.
Yeah, it's okay. We've had disasters before. We've had worse disasters, actually, if I can recall correctly. In the last few episodes, Video Ninja had a cow on us, but that's okay. While we wait for that to get rectified, we're going to go ahead and do our collective quench. Devin, I know you're in the dark over there, but I know you got a drink next to you, buddy.
Oh, I sure do.
And I hope everybody in the audience today has a drink next to them. Go ahead and grab whatever will quench your thirst. A cup or mug or glass, a canteen chalice or stein, a canteen jug or flask, a vessel of any kind. Fill it with your favorite liquid, as our late friend Scott Adams used to say. Rest in peace, homie. Go ahead and raise them up. Umbrella fight or circle tight. We shine together in the night with laughter loud and spirits in sync. Raise up your glass, and now we drink.
We're going to drink, even though you can't see me.
I trust that you're... Ooh, spicy. I trust that you're going to carry through with the collective quench.
I will.
All right. Now that we've wet our whistle, let's go ahead and kick off the Umbrella Fight podcast. We're going to talk about the only thing that matters on this podcast, and that, of course, is video games. Devin, how you doing, man? You've been playing some video games lately?
I have. I definitely have. I did. Yeah, I did. Surprisingly,
we put down the books for 5 seconds.
Not even 5 seconds. I think I relapsed, bro. I had to have my fix. No, I played like a lot. I think it was Sunday. I just crammed in some video games. I played a lot of Battlefield.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was so good. I played the hell out of Battlefield, blowing stuff up. It was a good time.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. What are you still enjoying that new map with the elevation tactics that you've got going on, different layout levels? Is that like what you honed in on, I assume?
That is hey, I don't get my cool little vignette and like backgroundy stuff, but it's okay. Yeah, no, the Battlefield map I've played extensively. That was almost exclusively what I played.
Okay.
It's fantastic. The map was really good. There was I had one of those organic online moments where like I just like ran in, like you just randomly queue in. Like I'm just solo queuing. I just jumped in. I was gonna play. It was one of those where I was going to play like, oh, just like a round or two, and then it just turned
Uh-huh.
into like a full session.
Dude, been there, done that.
Because I ran into these guys, like these randos, and we were just calming, like just chatting, and like it was just a vibe. Like we were just working together, and it was just like an organic little squad that formed, and we played like God, a good handful of rounds, and we were like being strategic with each other, and
Dude, yeah.
it was really cool. We were kicking ass too. Like we were turning the tides of the games. It was a good experience.
Heck
But
yeah, man. Where else in the world can you do something like that but a video game? You know, hop
right.
into a match, get matchmaked with you know, some folks that you've never met before around the world, and boom, you just vibing for hours on a Sunday.
Yeah, and like such a chill game too. Like there's okay, you definitely have those experiences in games like Battlefield, like lobby based ones. But man, I'll tell you what the best feeling is, having that type of an organic experience. And like for example, I don't know if you've ever played DayZ.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
DayZ is a great example of like where it crafts like these organic experiences that can either like just make you alt F4 the game, or or you just lock in with the guy and you just had this insane experience that you don't even know how to express to anyone else, because it was so unique to like that situation, but it was just iconic.
Well, DayZ is like, so DayZ is if you guys haven't ever played DayZ, you should check it out if you're into like the survival stuff. They're like smaller servers, right? Up to what, 50 people, something like that.
Yeah, it's not a huge amount of players.
And so like when you get in on DayZ, the fun part about that is that it's so quote unquote realistic, meaning you can really talk to people that are right next to you. It's got like that locational comms, but also like things can turn on a dime. People can stab you in the back. They can like, it literally is like two people in the apocalypse that met up and they both have guns trained on each other, like friendly.
Yeah.
Okay, we lowered our guns at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, I'm not going to kill you. Let's try to work together.
And you can never trust anyone 100%.
No, you get up to like that 90% mark, and you're like,
yeah,
I don't know, this guy still might pop me in the head and take my stuff.
Turn the wrong way, find the wrong piece of loot, and he's like, man, I really need that.
Like, yeah, but I need it too.
Exactly. Game over. Yeah, no, that's organic experiences, man. I think they really are what always made me gravitate towards multiplayer games, because that's primarily where I've lived in video games. Like you're definitely more significantly in the solo, style games. I'm very much prominently, like I could say this, right? I could be a little opposite. Yeah, I definitely like Zelda being like one of my top favorites. Very solo game that's not a multiplayer one. But I could, my primary amount of time, like if I look at the time spent in like overall where I spend my time in video games, is it's typically like a multiplayer game of some facet, not always necessarily like open lobbies where there's like tons of people, but it's always like me and at least one other person, like bare minimum, that I'm playing. And that's just like what I've really enjoyed about games, because you get those, the human element that's involved. I really enjoyed that portion of it. To the degree that like it creates a unique experience each time. That's what I enjoyed about League of Legends. It wasn't necessarily because I didn't even get that competitive whenever I played League of Legends. I just played with friends, and every game was this new, almost unique crafted experience, because I picked a certain champion that maybe I didn't play with while he was playing this champion, and then we didn't play that dynamically with all of the other champions that were on the other team, and maybe I'm in a different spot on the map, and there's different skill levels within that match, so it created a completely unique experience every single time you loaded into a game.
Hell yeah.
and then it crafts these like amazing, unique moments where you like randomly meet someone and then like, oh, like almost lifelong friends. Like I've got people that I met online that I've never met in person, and we played games for a decade together. Like, it's really interesting how it works.
Yeah,
but I've loved that aspect of video games, and you're right. I don't think you can. I don't know. Maybe there is something else that can create that organically, but I can't think of one that creates it in the same way that video games really does.
Yeah, and so easily too. I mean, you know, you pick up a $30 game. Hell, sometimes the game's free, and you just get on there and play. Whereas, you know, if you were into something like, say, mountain climbing or hiking or jogging, you would have to like go to a place, you'd have to do your own matchmaking, so to speak. You know, you got to go, you got to be the matchmaking algorithm live IRL. And, you know, it's not as easy as it is with a video game to just kind of vibe. Actually, I have a crazy story. I don't know if I told this on the podcast before, but I used to play. I definitely have my moments where I get into a multiplayer game, and it's typically when I have a friend I already know in real life. I mean, you and we've played Rocket League accidentally for 10 hours on a Sunday before, so
100%.
I know how that goes. But also, I had my night after nights when I downloaded Warzone. With actually, I work with the guy now that it got me into it, and then 2 other guys from work joined. So we had a 4-man squad that would show up every night, and it was just a great time. But this one time I was playing Diablo 3, and I matched up with some folks, and you know, we were there. There's no voice chat, but we we're still chatting in the little box there and deciding what to do, and then so. You play long enough on something like that, and small talk happens. And this guy was like, "Yeah, so hey man, where are you from?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm in Texas." And he was like, "No shit, me too." And, all right, cool. What city are you in? And he was like, "I'm in the Woodlands." What? Excuse me. So I you know, basically, I'm not going to dox myself here, but essentially, it boiled down to we were literally about 2 miles from each other.
That's so insane. Hey, like, you want to grab a cup of coffee after this? Like,
he goes, I work at such and such a restaurant in the kitchen. I was like, I can literally drive there in 2 minutes. And it was the most bananas experience. Like, imagine playing a global game like Diablo 3, and then you get the matchmaking happens with somebody who lives a stone's throw away from you, and you just happen to discuss it. It kind of blew my mind.
No, that's insane. Like, that's what I mean. And well, some of those things are like a little less insane whenever you understand like how they do matchmaking. Obviously, they're going to put people, you know, close in proximity with each other for latency purposes, but
I guess that makes sense. Yeah. But don't ruin the fun. Don't ruin the fun, Devin.
No, but it doesn't ruin the fun, right? Because it's still this like this mysterious, like, we understand the technical side of things, and sometimes that does ruin the fun. But like it doesn't ruin the organic experience that you had. It was a random person online, and you had an organic experience playing this game with them, and then it somehow moved away from the video game, almost offline, right? To like this real like person that you knew almost, right? Yeah. So it's interesting how that works. Like, games do something special, and there's definitely moments outside like that I can think of that you can do that, like hiking. Like, sometimes you'll like, I don't know how avid of a hiker you've ever been, but my wife and I, we've done some hiking in our days, and some of the interesting things, like an experience that's similar I'm thinking of, is like we did this, what you call like backpacking or through hiking, where you start at the beginning of a trail and you go to the end of a trail, and and it was the Appalachian Trail. So you start in Georgia and you try to hike all the way up to Maine. Obviously, we didn't make it all the way, but we hiked for about a week or 2 weeks straight, and it was really cool. Everything on your backpack, all the food in there. You got your tent, you got your sleeping bag. Everything's just on your backpack, and you're just hiking. And there's a lot of other people that are doing the same thing. So you end up like meeting these people, and you have this common objective, right? In the same way that you'd be playing a game with this common objective.
100%.
So you build these little weird relationships with people, whether they're super close or intimate or not, doesn't even matter. It's just like you have this common goal, and you see each other you know, passing each other back and forth. You know, maybe one of you guys are taking a break, eating some lunch, the other one zips by, and it's like, oh, it's that guy again. And you like start to build like this relationship with them over the course of this objective. And it really leads to like an interesting moment. But that's the only thing that I can like, it's things like that where you're maybe common objectives, but video games is I think your point was it's such an easy way to have those natural experiences and interactions in a multiplayer game rather than having to go out and, oh my God, go backpacking for 2 weeks straight to have that type of organic experience with somebody with this common objective. Because I think it's different than even going out to like a bar. Because like what's like you're just there to the objective, I guess, is to socialize, which is I don't know, like that's not the same thing as like, oh, I'm just entertaining myself, and then I organically meet this person with this common goal in mind. We team up together and have this whole experience, and then you kind of just part ways a lot of times, and you never see this person ever again. But it was like a really cool experience that you had that kind of sticks with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still talking about that Diablo 3 story. I remember,
right.
Man,
yeah.
I have some people that, excuse me, are still friends on my Steam list. I don't know who they are anymore because they've changed their names a dozen times.
Same.
But I know that they friended me because we were playing Payday 2. You know,
that's right. Yep.
I talked about Payday 2 last time, and
man, when I played Counter-Strike Source, like back in the day, man, I put hours on that game, and I would be playing the like all these different modded versions of the game. Like I barely even played like normal shooting Counter-Strike at that point. I was playing like what game mode they called Death Run, Jailbreak, surfing, and you'd get into these lobbies and you just like interact with people and just they just had chat, so like people would just be talking, and you like I made so many friends, or you know,
it's almost like the game is incidental to the interaction at that point. Like you go through the motions of the game and you are grinding and you're having a good time, and playing the game together is why you're there. But it like the focus of your lenses kind of dissipates on the game itself, and then suddenly you're connecting on a personal level, and you're friends. You know, you found it's like meeting people at a Pokemon trading card convention. You're like, oh, turns out we just all love this stuff, and we all know we're here. We all know we already have something in common. So let's talk. Let's be cool and have build some friendships that, I mean, you said yourself, you get friends for decades at this point.
Like, yeah, literally, it's insane.
Awesome.
Like
I love it.
There was this one individual we met. I don't know, dude. I was probably, I don't know. I think I was 14, and this guy was like 10 or 11. Like it was like a kid, a little squeaker.
You want to play some Counter-Strike?
Yeah, no, like it was actually that, and so we got him into our TeamSpeak server, and bro stuck around with us until he was like 20 years old. Like, dude, like we watched this kid go from like a kid, like the age of my nephew right now, all the way up to like a full-grown adult, and it was like so interesting. Like, and we get to know that, like, get to understand like his family dynamics, like where he came from, all sorts of just wild stuff. And I have like, that's not the only one. That's just one. Like I think there was another one I can think of. I had another guy. He was a little older than that one when we met, but same thing. We all just kind of stuck around, hung out in that TeamSpeak server for years.
Wow.
Like, and just, you know, here and there, it's like eventually things, you know, drift apart or whatever, just like real life friends and things like that. But yeah, it was really cool. Like we just knew each other for years upon years.
Yeah,
because we play a game together.
There's a meme that floats around every now and then that really makes me think about that kind of thing. How you have your group of friends, and at some point you're gonna get older. You know, damn, I'm almost 40, and then like slowly but surely, you know, 5 of you sign on every day and do a thing like on a 5v5 game, and then all of a sudden it's 4, and then there's 3. And then like one day you pull up the thing and it just says last seen online 7 years ago, and you're like, oh
damn. Yeah, no, that meme hits every single time.
Every time, yeah.
I've got those too, where it's just like, dude. I mean, I still have like groups of friends that I play with, but that original group or that guy that I played with long ago, it's like, dude, can't remember the last time I played a game with them, and it's just interesting. But that's such as life. Like that's the same dynamic, and I don't know where this conversation even came from, but I think it's a beautiful thing that people that maybe don't even play this style of video game don't understand is that social aspect of video games is huge, and I think that's actually what drives a lot of the most popular games, which are multiplayer, right? Where you're interacting, you're playing with your friends. It's not an isolative style hobby, right? It's not like I'm playing a game all by myself in my little cave. Like you're actually with your friends in Discord, and I love now, like we turn on our webcams in Discord, and it's like we're all sitting there and just hanging out and like vibing, and like one person's eating some food and we're like, what the hell you eat, man? Like, or like someone pulls up a drink and he's got his whiskey in his hand or whatever type of bullshit. So it's like it's just a really interesting thing that I think it's always been there, and it's just evolved to become even more centered around the community that you play with.
100%. I mean, think about Discord. Discord is a digital house. Like you stand up your house and you have rooms, and like, hey, this is the general. Yeah, exactly. You decorate it. You wear your quote unquote profile clothes over to dress up nice and be cool. I got my little spinny thing around my profile picture, and it looks neat. And then you jump into the room, and or you even just see somebody in that room, and like, oh, I'm gonna go pop in and see what they're doing. Like, I see you guys at the Bloated Float every now and then, and like I'll pop in and you guys are streaming some kind of nonsense, and like, hey, what's going on, guys? Like, oh, we're doing XYZ, and it literally is like knocking on the door at a friend's house, except for you just kind of burst in like Kramer.
You just come in like, hey, what's everybody doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
It really is, and there is a tendency that I see a lot of quote unquote true gamers. They hate on the folks that play nothing but Call of Duty or nothing but 2K, NBA 2K, or nothing but FIFA, and it's like, dude, that's what they like to play. That's like, it's the same people that make fun of sports ball. Like, bro, sports are popular. You know that? It's a game too. And it's fun to watch. It's the same exact thing as watching an Overwatch tournament. You just don't understand what's going on or like what's going on. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, they're just hanging out with their friends. It just happens to be in a digital space. And it turns out there are a lot of people who like hanging out with their friends in a digital space. Like, sue them. What are you going to do?
Yeah. It's and it is. I think it satisfies that some of that human social interaction that people crave as well.
I mean, humans are social creatures, and I may be more of an introvert than I am an extrovert, but even me, as I play Doom all the time. I play a lot of single player games. I like the personal challenge. That's one of the things that drives me to video games a lot, is like, okay, I've been set up an obstacle course, so to speak, to get through. And especially with a lot of these custom Doom mods I've been playing, boy, howdy, they are obstacle courses. And at the end of it, I make it, and it feels good. It's that satisfaction. But I also will crave every now and then, like, hey man, we need to play Rocket League, or we need to play some, competitive Quake 3 or something like that, some old school game that I haven't played in a while. So having the ability to do both is something that I think the video game medium, like, because you can't play basketball by yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you can, but you only do it for so long.
Yeah, you can only shoot 3-point shots and half court shot practices. You're practicing for a game. Whereas video games, you can do both. There's space for everyone here. Yeah. Wow, that's an interesting set of thoughts. I hadn't really thought about it that way. We really drilled down deep into that.
Yeah.
So, actually, speaking of social games, I popped open one of the older games that I haven't played in a while. State of Decay 2. Have you ever played State of Decay 2?
I have. You introduced me.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
State of
that game
Decay.
was fantastic.
It's super fun. It's
Yeah.
like, if you haven't ever played State of Decay, it's like zombies plus base management. Yes. Oh, sorry. I thought I got called just now. It's like zombies plus base management, and you
Right.
can kind of do the loop, but really the fun is teaming up with your friends and jumping in.
Yep.
And like, it is you have your own base, and each person has their own base, but they can bring in their character from their campaign and kind of help you out with your base as well. So it's like synchronous and asynchronous at the same time. It's very unique. But they have the final update has already been dropped for quite some time, and so all of the unlockables are like the seasonal unlockables are available. You can get them pretty much at any time. So I kind of went back and I played some of that, and I joined in with my brother-in-law and my buddy from work. Man, I haven't had that much fun in a while.
Uh,
Just shooting zombies and getting in trouble, and like, oh great, now
yeah.
our car's out of gas. All right, well, I guess we're hoofing it back to base. Let's
Get stuck in a house with like one of those freaking I don't remember what you call them, but
the
and then it's
feral
like
zombies.
yeah, and they're all freaking hoarding the house. Like, oh my
Oh,
god, dude.
it can get out of control for sure.
Easily. Easily.
But yeah, I played a lot of that pretty recently. I'll probably go back and play a little bit more of it, just
Yeah.
to wrap up what's going on with it. But one of the things that I dug into because I played that is the sequel. State of Decay 3 is in production again. It was in
Oh
kind of
wow.
development hell for a little while, and the team has picked it back up, and I'm hoping on a 2026 release, but I'm not gonna hold my breath, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's one of those like it's like my
We'll
buddy in
see.
Elder Scrolls 6, you
Oh,
know?
yeah. Probably not this year, homie.
In production for like 15 years, man.
Oh, man. It
Whatever excitement you have of it, you need to lower your standard because if and when it does come out, which I think it will, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
You
especially for a big title like a Bethesda's Elder Scrolls
man,
6. Bethesda would have to fold before they stop making Elder Scrolls game,
yeah,
right?
100%. Yeah, they would. They have
Same
to.
thing with
I mean,
Fallout,
that's
especially with the prominence of the TV show. Did I overhear that the Elder Scrolls series is like looking to do a TV show or a movie or something?
oh, I have no idea.
Okay, don't hold me to that. I need to do some more research, but I vaguely remember either that or they were talking about how bad it would be online. I saw some discourse like, "Oh, here's how they
You
would
know
ruin it."
oh, man. Yeah, they could do it really bad
They could
because
do it dirty for sure.
oh,
I
man. Yeah,
mean, you've
you know,
seen all the
fantasy
shows lately that's been really bad, like the Rings of Power. I kind of dug into that a little bit, and if you know anything about Lord of the Rings, they're trying
yeah.
to do things like show the orcs having families and stuff. It's like, bro, they were summoned from the earth to kill things. They're not
Yeah,
family
what are we
people.
doing?
They're not even people. They're just demonic creatures.
I
What are
was
you
gonna say
doing?
they were just like freaking like, minions,
Yeah,
essentially.
literally Sauron pulled them up from the mun or
Yeah.
Saruman, whatever his name is. They all start with
Yeah,
S and end in
that's
on.
right. Yeah.
It's fine. They were summoned up from the dirt, the earth itself, to kill. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Never mind. I could really go off on a tangent there.
No, it fantasy is one of those that like you either absolutely crush, knock out of the park, or it's it's like a tragedy the entire
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Um, eh, very, very hard line to follow, especially when you're adding in like all the magic stuff in fantasy is I think what it makes it so difficult because doing that tastefully becomes really difficult from a storytelling and an animation perspective, I think, without it coming across really cheesy.
Yeah.
I think that's what ends
So
up happening most of the time, right?
I think a lot of the time when it comes to magic is we just file the thing under, oh, it's just magic. It's not just magic because a lot of the systems that are in play, excuse me, for the some of the big name franchises, their magic has lore and reason. And while the origin might be a little bit more nebulous, or you have to suspend your disbelief of like this god and that goddess, and then they clashed and killed each other, and then was born of this, the
Yeah.
magic. Here's how it's controlled. Like it has a how,
Yeah.
and if you don't have a how at the very beginning of it, then it kind of falls apart because then you could just write whatever and nothing there are no stakes anymore. You can just magic people back to life, or you can just magic, oh, he used the biggest baddest spell and so now everybody on the bad guy side is dead. Like you got to give something some stakes, and you have to give the how is so important in universes like that, which is why the fantasy fans are not volatile, are extra sensitive to the quality of their medium. uh People who love Lord of the Rings fucking love Lord of the Rings. Okay.
Yeah.
They know why the orcs
Yeah.
were summoned up. They know why Tom Bombadil is an asshole. They know why all of these things. And the moment you subvert that with a piece of story writing, every single one of those fans is gonna be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold the phone.
Man, it's the same thing with like the Star Wars fans,
don't get me started on Kathleen Kennedy.
Bro,
I'm so glad she's gone.
All of those series, all of those like massive storylines, like how there's those fans that just they know it better than the writers know it. And
absolutely. Yeah.
It's nuts. And so then anytime they come out with any new content, it just gets scrutinized.
Yeah, extra scrutiny. I think that is the key here. It's not just that they care, it's that they care a lot, and they're going to try and poke holes in it because they want to know that their beloved franchise, say what you will about people having a love for a fictional thing, they still enjoy it. Like, sorry, not sorry, everybody's going to love Star Wars. So the moment you put out something dumb like The Acolyte, everybody's going to shit on it because it sucks. From their already established lore and how and why. When you bring in something else that is either going to subvert the how and why that they know, or not make sense with the how and why that they know, that's going to tick people off.
Yeah. Every single time.
It
never fails.
It really doesn't, because this has happened to Star Wars. It's happened to Lord of the Rings. It happened for me personally. It happened in Game of Thrones when they started deviating away from the books, which, to be fair, the books aren't finished, but there's just this winding story. And then the end, it didn't end so great. And I don't know. There's just a lot of things that could have been done better at the very end.
Yeah.
But hey,
you know what's a crazy, and this is totally not video games, but it's a show that I absolutely really enjoyed that is like a fantasy show that I think is pretty, I don't know how niche it is. Honestly, I haven't done like deep diving on like the fan base or anything like that, but it's BBC's Merlin.
Oh yeah, no, I remember Merlin. I never got to watch it, but it popped up on my radar a couple of times, and I thought, maybe I should try that. Did you like it?
It's okay. So it's one of those shows where, I every time that I've recommended it to someone so far, they've enjoyed it, and they've really liked it, and people who you wouldn't think would even like that genre of show. But the reason I'm hesitant, because I feel like it's niche, is you can tell if you've ever watched Doctor Who, which I know you have, you know how that like low budget feel of Doctor Who,
the cheese level.
Yes, the cheese level is just prominent in Doctor Who, but it's not. That doesn't ruin the show in any sort of way.
Absolutely.
Like it enhances the show and makes it like really entertaining. Merlin is kind of the same energy.
Okay.
So if you enjoy the cheesiness that you got out of Doctor Who, you probably will enjoy the way that they do, because in the same way that Doctor Who, typically you're getting like an episode is a full arc and completion, but also drives an overall story. Merlin kind of does the same thing, so you're not always left on these like, oh my god, cliffhangers. Like I can't,
know what?
I can't stop watching it.
Oh man, you're touching on something that really is exhausting for me personally on TV shows today. It's that every single scene in a show, every episode is like,
Yeah.
it's always in service of the big story. There's never a like, oh,
Yes.
hey, there's an immediate threat. We got to deal with that. It's
Yeah.
always ends on like a,
Can I
would
just
it
watch an
really,
episode and then call it a night and go to bed without
yeah,
like wondering, oh my God, what's gonna happen next?
1,000%. Oh my gosh, it's exhausting. And like I
It's so
gave up.
exhausting.
I watched 4 seasons of Stranger Things. I'm never gonna finish it because
No, it's
A,
so bad, dude. Like in that regard, right?
yeah, in that regard, like it might be an awesome show, and I'm
Yeah.
certain that the characters are cool, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that the ending is neat, like whatever. But at the end of the day, every single episode just drives the entire big arc forward just a little bit, just
Just a little.
enough, and
Just
then
enough to make you have to watch the next episode.
right, and then the next season doesn't come out for another 2 years.
Yeah,
I've completely lost interest in these characters entirely. I don't know who they
yeah,
are.
it's like the season is the episode.
Yeah.
Right? Or the
Yeah.
season is what the episode should be, if that makes
Like
sense.
an
In terms of
8-hour movie you have to get through somehow.
yeah, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Um,
Whereas back in the day, you used to have TV shows like a great example is Star Trek: The Next Generation. Okay.
I've never seen
Big,
it. Yeah.
well, you can kind of it's easy enough to paint this picture because you know what Star Trek is, and to boldly go where no man has gone before, and you have these individual isolated episodes that explore an idea.
Right.
And usually it's a really great idea. What if this,
Mhm.
or how do we deal with that? Like, how would humans react in this situation? But throughout the season, you have a bigger push for
Yeah.
a big story. So each one of the 26 episodes that came out week after week, all right, we're ready to see what Captain Picard's going to do this week. We're ready to see what is going on in
Yeah.
with the USS Enterprise. Each episode can be taken bite size, and you get that that exhale.
Yes.
The story exhale at the end. You're like, wow, I did learn something about what's going on in the background here. And
Right,
there's a big
correct.
story, and I do want to finish the season, but I
Correct.
got to a complete story out of this
Yep.
that explored an idea, that took it to its extreme, and then concluded it and shut it down.
Yeah. I think your wife would also really enjoy Merlin too.
I know for a fact she would. There's no question, because she's a massive Whovian. She's a massive Harry Potter
No,
fan.
my wife loves Merlin, and I know
yeah.
they're kind of like they could be two little peas in a pod.
Oh, I'm certain of it. If we ever get them in a room together at some point, and then somebody brings up books, it's game over.
Oh, man.
You know what? I actually, one more before we pivot, I want to talk about this tweet that I've got pulled up here on. I'm sharing with you here, but before we pivot, I do want to mention a show that I recommend that everybody watch, because the first 2 seasons are a flavor, and the third season is a little bit of a different flavor because they got an injection of money from Hulu, which is fine. I liked that the direction that they took it, but that show is called The Orville. Have you ever seen this? I might have talked about it before.
I haven't. You probably have talked about it.
Yeah. So if you're a Star Trek fan and you haven't watched The Orville, you absolutely have to. The only thing that will turn people off is that if you don't like Family Guy humor, kind of semi-random, it's not exactly random, like complete random, but it's definitely a little bit of tongue-in-cheek millennial humor. So I know for some that can be a little grating. But at the end of the day, the show itself is very much Star Trek with a little bit of comedy painted on the top of it. And every episode explores a particular situation. They go to a planet that's set in the past, and they're like, well, we can't interfere. Like, oops, I interfered, and now I'm a god in the future to this civilization. How do I deal with this?
Yeah. Okay.
And then the third season is very like it might as well be Star Trek. Like it's so good, and every episode I was having a good time watching it. But it does the thing. You get the inhale of the story, and at the end of the episode, you get that exhale. Like, all right, I learned something about either these people or even myself watching this TV show. So definitely want to recommend it. It's a Seth MacFarlane type of thing. So if that's not your bag, maybe steer clear. But
he literally is.
Say at least give it a try.
He is he's one of the writers for sure.
Yeah, he's the main star as well. Like, this is his baby.
Okay.
This is his baby.
All right.
And what's her name? Adrienne Padalecki. She plays Perkins from John Wick. She has a little mini part there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see who else is in it. There's a boatload of people. Norm Macdonald was in it for a little while. He plays this slime creature. So it's got a lot of names that show up here and there, and
Yeah.
you'll definitely recognize some faces. Hell, Rob Lowe is in it for a little bit. That's really funny.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
So
cast now. Interesting.
anyway, I could talk about the Orville forever. Let's talk about this tweet here. This is comes
Yeah,
courtesy
dude.
of our friends from Dexerto. Half-Life writer Czech Falashek. I'm at least gonna say his name right because what he said is completely idiotic, but never mind. This is actually he's a Half-Life writer, and then he was tweeting about or was talking about the failed game Highguard, which if you guys aren't familiar with Highguard, that was fantasy plus guns plus horses plus way too big of levels that nobody played and didn't really like. And there's a lot of discourse about this game and why it failed, and a lot of it is being laid at the feet of the players themselves, which that never makes sense to me. Like, I'm sorry, if people aren't playing your game, even if it's a good game, something went wrong. I don't know what to tell you. Like, whatever. But his take on it says Chet Falashek has called out quote unquote haters who hope that games fail. If you hate game developers, you hate games. If you're cheering on for things to fail, if you think game developers have no idea about games and only you, just keep it to yourself.
So out of touch.
That really is out of touch to me. And this response from this other account, Mizu Tamari, says the reason he's wrong is many game devs have spent years hating players, and now that players are fed up with broken $80 releases that aren't even conceptually good ideas, then getting told they're poor for not wanting to buy it. Yes, game dev is hard, and it's your job, so you would want to defend it. You know what's on the other side? People in a rough economy with their own hard jobs who you're asking to devote $80 to something that lately doesn't even work, isn't fun, and the plug will be pulled in a month with no way for them to even keep using it. You know, we've kind of rehashed this topic a little bit, but I just thought it was interesting to hear directly.
Though. Like, no, I feel like that's almost a different. I don't feel like we've talked about that directly entirely because what he's saying is becoming so much more prominent than we've seen recently. But with that higher price tag, I think that's a huge point. When you're spending $80 and you can't guarantee that your game is going to be online for more than a month, more than 2 months, that's an insane thing to ask from somebody. They're now risking that $80 for their entertainment that they may not even receive.
Yeah,
right. Like,
absolutely.
So where did that money end up going? Like, that's insane for me. Like a New World experience, like where we lost, like we're going to lose New World. Yes, it sucks. Yes, it's horrible. I'm super upset about it. But dude, I got like 700 hours out of that game. Like, it was $40. I got my money's worth. At the end of the day, it sucks that it's leaving because I enjoyed the game. But at this point, like in terms of like price to entertainment ratio, I got my money's worth out of it. And I could say the same thing for Rocket League. It's free now, but I paid $20 for it. I got my money's worth out of Rocket League. But if you told me, hey, go spend that $40 on New World, and then 30 days later, it's going to be shut down, well, I just wouldn't purchase the game.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of people, honestly, I didn't see his take on it. Chet's take on it seems misguided because I don't think what he's reading as people cheering for it to fail is that. I don't think they're cheering for failure. What they're saying is this game that we're seeing sucks. We don't like this. And then the developers are doubling down on it and like, no, you don't know what you like. Well, I'm sorry, but you don't get to dictate what I like and don't like, homie. That's just not how this works. You can't tell me what to think. I'm going to think what I think. And if I pop open your game and it sucks, I don't care how long you'd spent making it. That's just how it is. My opinion, you put your art out there, I get to have an opinion. So, you have a lot of streamers that get games early, they get access to early to show it off. And then people care what those people think because they do have their little communities and they have built a level of trust with it might be as small as 40 people that join your stream, but might be as big as thousands of people that join your stream to watch you play this new thing. And those people trust that person to give an honest opinion on something. And, this is to say nothing of those guys that get paid to play a game and like they have to give it a good review. That's a whole nother ball of wax I'm not even going to talk about. But for somebody to just like, oh, I got access to this, they want to know what I think. If that streamer says it sucks and their audience can see that the streamer is not having a good time, like, they might watch it for 20 minutes and make a snap judgment. That's their call to make. But then multiple people might leave that stream on for hours and watch them struggle with X, Y, or Z, or not like this or not like that. And maybe some things are good, but most of it is not great. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's not that they're cheering on for it to fail. They're looking to somebody who, for all intents and purposes, they don't have another option for trust. I can't go to IGN and trust that their Highguard 8.9 out of 10 rating means anything. I can't trust that because I know how ads work. I can't trust that because I've seen what GameSpot did to Jeff Gerstmann back in the day. I know how poisoned that well is. Sorry, there's nothing y'all can do about it anymore. That bridge is burnt. But for influencers, I hate that word, but that's what they are. For opinion influencers who have built that bridge themselves over years and years of streaming, they get to have that opinion. You can't tell them that they hate games because they don't like your game. Your game might suck, but you as a developer, you might not know that. You might not be able to see that because all these focus groups and people around you have insulated you from the real world, quote unquote.
Yeah. It's the out of touch thing, and what was coming to mind is like when you think about like the big wealthy people in the world and you think about the middle class individuals, or even on the lower end, and they have this conversation of, well, it's, you're not wealthy because you don't manage your money correctly. And that statement never comes across well, right? Because
No.
as a wealthy person, you're the ability for you to be able to take your finances and make it multiply itself is so much more significant than the advantage that someone like myself would have with their finances. Not because I'm not good at it, but because you have so much more to work with. Right? And so you become so out of touch with the understanding, like, of, yes, I understand if you can put your money in the market and make 10% off of that. Your 10% happens to be $500,000 a month. Well, my 10% is, I don't know, like, I'm lucky if I get $50, right, out of my 10%. And so yes, we can do the same things, but we're not going to get the same result. It's this out of touch. You don't understand what you're missing here. And what you're missing is that what the resources that I have or what I can do is different from what you understand to be your reality as well. And the developers, in their same sense, is like, yes, you guys know how to craft this video game and make a quote unquote great video game from a developer perspective. But if at the end of the day, whenever I play your game, if I'm not getting that same thing, it's not because what you made for yourself or what you understand to be good is not legitimately working, right? It's not like you took that $100,000 and you didn't turn it into $150,000, $200,000, right? But it's because when I put in my $25, I didn't get $250,000, right? I didn't have that experience that you had as a rich or a wealthy or a developer. I got the gamer experience. Right, you're out of touch from the gamer side of things. That's why the indie developers, I think, have a better community base with their video games. The ones that go big, of Valheim, we could go through the list, all of those, right, that have come up out of the woodworks and just exploded in terms of player base for however long. I mean, but those games are, and maybe they're not even always gamers, but they're more in touch with the community and what they're actually wanting. And it leads to a game that I think produces just a way better experience for gamers themselves. And then they get what they deserve, right? By blowing it up, by blowing up the game and making it so huge versus these large titles with all of the experience that are so disconnected from the player base, who are looking at hey, this is the formula to make a good game, right? To develop a really fantastic game, that is by the book definition, is really, really fun, versus the reality of most people and what they actually want to play. it becomes different. It's become disconnected. I think they veered off course as time has gone on, and that's what's created this beautiful indie developer market. But that comes from a place of understanding the gamer community. They're just missing it. Like that's what this shows.
That's exactly right. I agree. They are, well, I think their assumption from the get-go is faulty, because you said it in a way that I hadn't really thought about before. The formula for a good game. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is a formula for a good game? Define that for me, because I know quite a few good games that are not even close to similar. Take a Stardew Valley. A Stardew Valley is not even close to the same game as Hollow Knight. Not even a little bit. From top to bottom, they both adhere to a specific sensibility in their own core genres. And even if you took a copy pasted formula of a Stardew type game, it's really hard to get that special sauce mixed into it. Like you gotta have this level of care and craft that goes into it, because at the end of the day, when somebody opens your game and plays it, they're gonna know whether it's hollow, or whether you're trying to squeeze money out of their wallet, or whether it was disingenuous, or whether you are asset flipping. They're gonna know. That's just how gamers are. We care about this hobby. And when you have a big giant corporation, here we go, it's talking about the corpos again. When you have a big corporation that spends millions and millions of dollars to make this formula work, I think you have less of a chance for success, because the formula is nebulous in a way that's really hard to quantify, and B, a formula indicates that there was already a thing that existed. So if I took like the Elden Ring formula and made another game just like it, the chances of getting a company to execute just the same way that FromSoft and George R.R. Martin paired up together and did is pretty slim, in my opinion. And then on top of that, we already have Elden Ring. Like, we already seen that. You're gonna have to either innovate, or you're gonna have to do it in a way that is injecting heart and soul into it, and that's really hard when you have a team that's busting above 500 people. It's really hard to make it. I think what's the phrase? When you make a game for everybody, you've made a game for nobody.
Right.
It's
the what's coming to mind is that unquantifiable piece is the art aspect, which is the human aspect of things. The art form of making a game can never be formulaic. If you've ever been, I don't know if you've ever looked at art, like drawings, paintings, whatever.
Bro, I got a degree in the nonsense. Right. Trust me.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. So there's something that's unarticulate about looking at a picture and it making you cry. Yeah. Right? Like you looked at this picture, you looked at this painting, and it could actually be a horrible picture, or it can actually be like not like in terms of like realism or whatever it is that the painting was even trying to do. It actually didn't even execute that part necessarily like excellent, but something about the painting like connected with you in a way that like struck a nerve or struck an emotion. And like I've been there with a painting, and you look at it and you're like, whoa, like there's something about this painting that is like unreal. Like I can't even, like, you can't quantify it, but it made you feel something, made you feel an emotion. And there's that aspect of, I think, because you can then take that and you can say, oh, I can make the most realistic person drawing ever, and I can make them look so emotional and they're crying. And it could be the most perfect version of that, right? The shading is perfect. It looks ultra realism. Right? You do all of the perfect things, but when you look at it, it doesn't give you that same feeling as the crappy like water painting that you looked at that really was like barely even a person, but like for some reason struck that nerve and like brought tears to your eyes. So it's not like you can formulaically design that art piece. For some reason, that's what makes art, I think still alive today in general, because there's that unquantifiable piece that is human that allows it to exist. Now, it doesn't remain profitable, maybe not, but like I think that is the beauty of the indie market versus the formulaic portion of the gaming market, where they're missing the human, the art form of things, and they think they know how to make the quote unquote perfect game, because games are math at the end of the day, and these developers have perfected their math, right? They know what it's supposed to equal. Unfortunately, that removes the art aspect of things.
100%.
And you
I
lose
could take a painting like Starry Night, one of the most famous paintings of all time.
Yeah.
And when I stare at Starry Night, it moves me in a way that is unquantifiable. You can take an AI and tell it, make this type of picture in the style of Starry Night, and it'll generate something, and it's completely hollow. It doesn't even it's not even close to striking the same tone, because somebody stood there and put their heart and soul into Starry Night, or Man in a Red Turban, or the Odalisque. Like, those paintings meant something to somebody, and when you look at it, you can unquantifiably touch that that feeling and that emotion that came through, which is why, I don't even, it's weird we're kind of approaching this topic, but I don't think AI games are ever going to be something like, they might be fun to noodle around with, but I don't think you're ever going to get something generated by AI that's like, wow, this was profound. This moved me,
Yeah. Well, a little devil's advocate, I think the AI could accidentally do something like that, but it's not going to be true. It's not going to be true to, this was it's not the human element. It just happened to copy something that was human, that was able to make you move still emotionally. I don't think it can do it consistently is the problem. And that would be the issue with having AI games, is you can't consistently predict that it's going to hit that exact thing. I mean, you can't even predict that humans will hit that exact string, right?
But
when you go ahead.
But the way a human puts their own experiences into something, their ability to tell a story, or put a feeling of accomplishment into a game, like take a Stardew Valley. There's a subplot that you can go through in which a character named Shane is an alcoholic, and he struggles through, there's several cutscenes, and the dialogue that's written is very specific, and it takes you through his journey of like really like almost killing himself through like drinking himself to death, and then he gets sober and finds a new outlet for that. That is a story that a lot of people can relate to, and I can guarantee you that Eric Barone, the creator of Stardew, either knows or has experienced something like that because of the way it's written. And he put that story together so expertly. Like, that is a portion of that game that speaks to me, because I can feel that narrative and the way it's crafted. And I don't think, maybe an AI could make something similar to that, but at the end of the day, formulaically, that's tough. That's really, really hard to do, because you have to have lived that experience and understand it. It's just like a book that's written by an ex whatever, say like an ex mafia guy. When you read as somebody who has been in that world for X number of years, and they write a book about their experiences, you really understand, like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about, and it gives the writing and the stories within that tome weight. And that's what makes it important, right?
Yeah, it does. I what I go back to is these major titles that we always talk about in on the podcast. Particularly, John does a really amazing job, I think, at articulating a lot of his experiences emotionally through video games, going through Red Dead, right? Like, that was like, I think that was some of like peak podcasting time, was when he was going through Red Dead, and he would come in and he was like, man, Arthur Morgan is just like doing some crazy, like, and he just like brings in all of this like beautiful storytelling that that he experienced. And that's the art side of it, that he's this unquantifiable piece that he's emotionally attaching to within those stories. Even the Don't Blink game, right? Like that one is,
oh my God,
insane, dude. Like that connects to people in such a human element. Like how can you formulaically come up with something like that? That game is not a long game. It's not meant to be a long game. In fact, I think it's meant to be short. And and that's the art behind it. That's the beauty behind it. That's what connects you with it. And you can't formulaically, as a AAA studio, put something out like that, because on paper, hey, we're going to put out this, like, I don't know, 2-hour experience, and we'll call it a day. It's going to be like $1. But they can't do that. That's not formulaic. That's not how do you produce the best, awesome. But that game will invoke more emotion or provoke more emotion in you than a lot of these large AAA titles, where you just go, what are we doing here?
I think it has a lot to do, and I don't want to be misunderstood. There is a ton of talent in even the studio that made Highguard. There's a ton of talent built into that, and they worked on a thing.
Yeah.
What, man, this is really hard to articulate. How does a studio like Rockstar put something together so masterfully in a Red Dead or a Red Dead 2 even,
right?
But then you have another AAA studio spend a X number of, a same amount of money and come up with garbo that doesn't resonate with people. Like, maybe I am being my own devil's advocate here.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. No, that's a great point.
What's the special sauce? Like, where is it coming from? I think it's a writer. It's a writing thing for sure.
It is.
If the writing of Red Dead 2 was bad or even lackluster in some ways, there would be huge issues with the game. Because if I'm honest, I don't love the way the game plays. It's not like A+ for me. I think it's B+ as far as gameplay goes, but the writing and the stories are top tier. And if you're going to make something and spend a lot of time and effort doing that, you really got to make sure the core is good. So like take a Highguard, for example. What's the core of Highguard? Oh, we put some guns in the hands of knights and put them on horses and then made a big battlefield for you to shoot each other in. What's the core here? Is it just another loop-de-loop shooter that it seems copy pasta from another game that already existed? So really it's hollow. There's nothing there that's going to hold me. I can go get that experience on a game I'm already playing. Sorry. I already am doing Apex Legends with friends. We're not going to suddenly shift over to Highguard because it's the new hot thing on the street.
Yeah, it's not unique.
It's not unique. It's not. It doesn't have the unquantifiable thing at the core of it.
So it's like the original painting is the most beautiful. Like, I don't know if you've seen the originals of any of like the famous paintings.
I have.
There's something different about the original painting. When you like put eyes on it, you're like, whoa, okay, I think I understand why this painting is so popular. Because I can Google image, right? Starry Night. Like, we can look at that right now. And yeah, it still has value to it. But like, man, when you're in front of that piece of art, there's something different that happens looking at it. And it's like, so the original, the thing that was originally built is maybe a part of it that has the emotion in it, right? Because I can recreate that painting, right? There's plenty of talented artists out there that can almost stroke for stroke match that painting, right? And they can so closely make something that is so incomprehensibly identical, but it doesn't have the same feeling as that initial painting. And I think that's what we get with, like, the first innovative game that comes out, that's the one that you're playing. That's the one that like struck the nerve. You now have like this emotional tie, this history with it now, right? This experience that you had with it that becomes nostalgic. So when you then try to do that again, right, you copy paste a new version of that and you try to recraft that same experience that I had on this new game, but it's not really new. I've already had that experience. Now I'm not going to, yeah, it's not good anymore, right? Like you're doing something I've already experienced. You're doing
It's not
something
good
that's
enough.
the same. Yeah, it's not good enough. And it's not that it's not good, because clearly in the past it was amazing, right? And if that was the game that maybe came out first, then we would all be talking about you instead. But
Yeah,
but it's not unique enough at this point in time, because you took so much that was good from the thing that we all loved, and you tried to recreate it again, and now it's just the same thing rather than being something that is truly unique.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think that's where they go wrong, is they take too much of what was so good about it, and they don't innovate to create something that is also new and unique with the new one that actually has value. They put a twist on it. And I feel like that's different than like really creating something that is new and unique on top of the things that are really good, because there's value in a sequel, right? But I think
but sequels have to iterate, right?
Yes, otherwise they die.
A good sequel is a bad sequel is an Assassin's Creed. Okay, we've seen this. We've done this 1,000 times.
I'm not playing the next game.
Go here, do this. That's fine, but iterate on it somehow.
Yeah.
You know who's actually, I think, the kings of doing this is Nintendo. I think Nintendo is really fucking good at doing this.
They are super good at it.
When I played Super Mario 3 for the first time when I was, I don't know, 3 years old, it was like, it blew my mind what I was seeing there. And I have a nostalgic love for Super Mario 3. And they did the same thing to me when the 64 came out and Mario 64 was in front of me. And they did the same exact thing to me when Odyssey came out.
That's
like, there's been so many iterations of like, okay, we did this formula. How can we do it better, but also differently? You know? Because at the end of the day, there's collecting stars. But if you go to Odyssey, I'm just collecting moons, but it's not about that. There's something extra special in Odyssey that takes the Mario formula and expounds upon it, like throwing the cap and becoming the thing that you've thrown your cap at. Like that's a new mechanic. They thought about that for a really long time and they made it good, and then they dropped it and it works. It just works because it's new and it's innovative, and also you can tell the people who made it give a shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, you nailed it. Like, I don't know if I can add to that, because that was like, that was what I was almost interrupting you for, is to say exactly that. They took that original thing that you loved. Yeah. You're going to collect the stars. And those things are important because that's part of what you kind of enjoyed in the beginning, but there's the portion of the game that they continue to innovate on. And that's the way you interface with the game. Right? Like,
how you're collecting these things.
Yes, and that changes and making that unique and artful is what they've done to carry on those. They do the same thing in Zelda. They've consistently done it, right? They innovate it. The new controls. Hey, we're implementing motion controls. Oh my god! And it created a whole new experience. Some of them not so great, some of them really good, but they kept it unique. And when they struck really great.
Yeah.
And I think that's it, but that's art, right? Like every painting that these big popular painting, the artists put out, they're not all hanging on that wall. It's the ones that were most impactful. They probably had hundreds and hundreds of paintings that ended up on the side of the road, right? Or dirt road or whatever. Like they're gone. Like they don't exist anymore because they didn't have that uniqueness, that impact. And so I think they're in their feels is really what it comes down to. They created something that even you can even say is artful, right? It was their art that they produced, maybe using the formula that they thought was innovative and unique and great and beautiful. And those, like you said, those guys, there absolutely has to be amazing talent on that team to create a game that looks like that plays like that. It's not an easy thing to do. Those guys are skilled, but what you can't get upset with is when you show that piece of art off and no one really clicks with it. That's not their fault that it didn't click with them.
Yeah.
Your art can be beautiful, but it can also just not resonate. And it's not even us hating and shooting for your failure, right? As the developers, we're just saying, hey, by the way, like it just didn't click. I can articulate that in a couple of different ways, maybe. hey, it didn't feel right. The way I interfaced with the character just wasn't, maybe the art was a little clunky. I don't, something along those lines. Like, you can maybe articulate some things, but at the end of the day, if it didn't click with the masses, something was missed there, right? That aspect that resonates with people in a video game, you missed.
Yeah. And I think specifically for the Highguard situation, it wasn't just that the game didn't resonate. It was also the history of games in general as of late. That response post hits the nail on the head. We're already being asked to invest X number of dollars on our low end, a rough economy. But on top of that, we've already seen so many games, A, do the same thing, B, come and go almost as quickly as they were released. And it's just like we don't have trust in these developers to make something that's going to stick around. And so it almost is creating this level of cynicism with gamers in general that, we're not rooting for you to fail. We're kind of expecting it. We've seen this story before. I've seen this movie happen. It's like when I go in to play an Assassin's Creed game, I know what I'm getting. I know what to expect. And guess what? It doesn't resonate with me either.
Right.
It's going to sell like gangbusters because Assassin's Creed somehow always does. It sells somehow. But
it's a surprise to me. I don't know.
Who's buying those games, dude? I don't know. I don't know anybody who plays those.
Genuinely couldn't tell you at this point. I mean, they're cool games, and I guess if you haven't played it in a couple of years, it may be interesting to pick one up again. But I don't know. I played the first one, and I feel like that was like I beat the first one. I think I might have played the third one. That was it. I don't think I touched Black Flag. Like, I opened it.
I had the same experience like with Far Cry. I played the first Far Cry. It was pretty neat back in the day.
Yep.
I played 3. 3 is pretty cool, and 4 actually spoke to me a lot. I really liked that game. Let's be real, it's a popcorn game. It's nothing like mega special. Yeah. The thing that really kept me coming back was the bad guy, Pagan Min, voiced by Troy Baker. What a killer antagonist. I really enjoyed that. But it felt good to play, and it was definitely popcorn. I tried my best to play 5 and 6, and they were just samey. It didn't innovate enough to be interesting. So I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, Chet, I don't think Chet is reading the room correctly. It's not hating on the game before it even comes out. It's a level of cynicism and expecting developers not to produce something that genuinely is great or moving or both, because Rocket League doesn't move me to tears, but it's great. It knows what it wants to do, and it does it well.
There's like I watched this like random video before I got on the podcast today. Like, I just opened YouTube and this video came up, and it was like something about people who don't celebrate their birthdays. And it starts talking about the types of people that don't celebrate their birthdays and why they don't do it. And a part of one of the points that they said was like, this is the first category of people who don't celebrate their birthdays, and it's typically the ones who have had an expectation as they were growing up that their birthday was supposed to be something, right? You were supposed to have your friends come over. You were supposed to have the cake. You were supposed to have the gifts. You were supposed to have the party. And then every year it either didn't quite meet the expectations or completely failed the expectations, right? And so year by year, as either the party started to dwindle or didn't quite meet the expectation, whether by your own volition or not, right? If you have the expectations, then you start to slowly lower those expectations, continue to lower the expectations, because it's a cope to some degree, but you understand that you have more peace and happiness whenever you set that expectation for yourself that is below the bar that is disappointment, right?
Wow.
Like, I don't want to become disappointed because I continually expect something to be what I think it should be, and then whenever I actually get my hands on it, I'm disappointed. And so then you have adults who go, yeah, it's my birthday, but like, it's not a big deal. And it's like, and they genuinely don't seem affected by it. Like, genuinely, you have like a ton of adults, right? That's a lot of adults, is they go, oh, I just don't like, I don't really celebrate my birthday. It's not that big of a deal. Like, I don't really care. But genuinely, most of the time, where this comes from is they just wanted a birthday party when they were a kid. And they slowly got disappointed. And so they adjusted their expectations. It's the same thing the gaming community has had, is there's these bangers out there. Yes, every once in a while we get something that just exceeds the expectation, but we're getting so many games nowadays from large titles that are very expensive that makes us hesitant, because we're seeing so much where now we have to be more reserved. Now we have to be more critical. Now we have to hold off. We have to take the opinions of the streamers before we throw the money at it. We have to be more hesitant. We can't just take the developer's word that it's going to be a perfect game. Like, you can't do that, because the history is there, right? Every year I expected something for my birthday, and you just kind of came up short. You turned off the game after a month or and a half. You made it cost this much, and I only got 10 hours out of it. Or you put the game out, and now I have all of these microtransactions I have to deal with. Or I bought the game, and all of a sudden I have to buy 10 DLCs to continue playing the game. This doesn't make any sense, right? And you just consistently see that, where it's like, so now what do I do as a gamer? I set an expectation, or a boundary, really is what it is, for myself to not be hurt, to not be disappointed, to not be kicked again. It's a survival mechanism. Yeah. Anyway, whoa.
Whoa, that's deep, dude.
So sorry if you don't celebrate your birthday, but
wow, I hadn't thought about it that way. That's really interesting. Yeah, you're right. If you take a look at the AAA gaming space, there's been countless examples of either a series taking a nosedive, and then like the fans expected something, but they got something totally different, or something brand new on the street that was supposed to be the next big thing, and it just wasn't. And kind of related to what you said, we do have to be more judicious with what we spend our time with, because our time is finite, and there's 7,000 demos for Steam Next Fest this year. I'm not going to be able to play all that. I have to sift through a bunch of stuff and be really, really cautious, because if I go in for 20 hours of gameplay on something and it was meh, I could have easily pivoted to something else and got an A+ experience and had a great time. So yeah, it's not that gamers are rooting for you to fail, developers. We really aren't. We want every game to be absolutely awesome, so that we can just simply pick up any game and enjoy ourselves. But there's too much trash out there. There's too much junk. And it's not to say that Highguard was junk, but the level of criticality that has to be levied against it isn't unwarranted. It's just like you said, the history's there. So sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry, man. They did create a game that could be taken down in 30 days.
Yeah.
They fell victim to exactly why we react this way. It's not the first time.
Yeah, and I think it would behoove studios to get out of their bubble. I don't know what's causing this bubble. I can't speak from, because I'm not inside, right? I'm not in the developer space. But I don't know what's causing all of these developers and management teams to truly think this is the next big thing, that everybody's going to make buku monies on it, or it's going to last years and years. I don't know what's telling you that, but you gotta break out of your bubble. You got to get different opinions, because everywhere I look on like even just the space of Twitter, I see very telltale signs of like, oh, this game is going to be offline in a month. I could tell you that as soon as it goes live, things are going to go south.
Make your game non-live service, dude. Think about Cyberpunk. Man, Cyberpunk, they did what Highguard did, except they were not live service. They came out, it was, absolutely slandered the game. Oh my God. I don't think there was I can't actually think of a worse release than Cyberpunk. Genuinely.
No Man's Sky.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. That one was pretty bad too.
That's the one I've got in my back pocket there, but that's the only other one I could think of.
Definitely a couple examples of it, but man, that was an example of one that just released and was an absolute shit show, but then didn't fall victim to what it is Highguard fell victim to, is they continued to work on the game and improve the game, keeping it alive, and is now an absolute just giant.
Yeah.
Right.
The gamble that they took on Highguard was that, okay, even if this comes out in a broken state, we can fix it. You don't have that kind of time.
You don't.
Because once people spend their money, like Highguard was free, so this might not be a great example, but if your game was $20, if your game was $30, $40, $50, $60, once I spend my money on that, the gamble I'm taking as a consumer that you guys might not be able to afford funding those servers is like, that makes the stakes way up here. Whereas if I spend $60 on Cyberpunk day one and it sucks ass, maybe I put it down for 3 years. I can know that I'm going to come back to it, and the developers will have put some TLC into it. They absolutely did in that case. And now I've got a game that I can play in perpetuity. I don't have to worry about your servers. You know, the live service thing is a real problem.
It's a big hesitation, and it brings a lot of criticism immediately, I think, to video games. When you start your game with, I think the barrier to entry of free is fantastic. I think the barrier to entry to free with a live service game is really difficult to produce. I think the risk on the developers, you have to understand from a business perspective, that is way higher, and you can't expect immediate adoption, right? It's just not feasible.
It's either going to take off or it's not, unfortunately, with a lot of live service games. And the problem with the live service game isn't just that it could potentially shut down. It also hinges on a lot of people playing it at the same time. When your numbers start dwindling and people have trouble matchmaking, that's yet another thing that dings the game. And it really is it's a much larger attack surface, so to speak, you know, from an attack in cybersecurity terms. You're widening the attack surface dramatically by making your game a live service game, because we've all seen the live service game before.
Yeah.
We know how this goes. We've seen this movie before, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're beating a dead horse there, but you know, the Highguard horse was dead on arrival. And unfortunately, a lot of people worked really hard on that game, and I'm sorry to see it go. It sucks that all of their work was spent in vain. But ultimately, it didn't read the room correctly, and that's just how things went. I don't think it's fair to blame the gamers that you know, oh, you just don't know what you want, or you didn't understand, or like anything that you say that blames your audience is not good. Don't say that.
Imagine wanting a birthday party and then they tell you, why the heck did you want a birthday party, you idiot?
Yeah,
it's like, damn.
You don't
never mind. Never mind.
I
don't want a birthday party, dude. Like,
yeah, it's just like, actually, it's like if I wanted a birthday party, but I wanted it at Chuck E. Cheese. You're like, no, we're going to the zoo. No, I don't want to go to the. I don't like the zoo. No, you don't know what you like. Here's the zoo. I'm not going to the zoo. I'm going to stay home. I'm not going to go to the zoo. Yeah, but I bought you a ticket. I already spent the money and bought you a ticket. I don't like the zoo. I'm not going to the zoo. I wanted to go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Please just take me to Chuck E. Cheese. And they're like, the zoo. I tell you what, we'll just make Zoo 2 and you can go play Zoo 2. How about that? No. We've been asking for Chuck E. Cheese this whole time, bro. Never wanted the zoo. Well, that conversation was something else right there.
Yeah, it was.
But I think we're pretty close to having to wrap up the show, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and do this and kick off the music. I don't mean to make this whole show negative, but the gaming space is tough these days. But hopefully we spurred some discussion and helped you guys understand what you do and don't like, because you clearly don't know what you like and don't like, according to the game companies. But you know what we like is you guys. We like that you guys show up every week. We appreciate you guys being here. Something I want to remind you is that you're awesome, you're loved, and what you do matters. especially how you spend your money. That matters. So I want you to pick up the phone, call your mom, call your dad, call your brother, call your sister, call your family, call your friends. Tell them that you love them, because life is just too damn short. Devin, I think we've only got 2 hearts to throw up today. We're gonna miss John. He'll be back with us next week. We'll see you guys next week. Love you. Bye.